So I think they need to re-examine the whole network from top to bottom. There are some people who do not agree with me on the sense that they need to introduce newer styles of, whether they're shuttle buses that carry only 20, that are only 20 feet long as opposed to the 35 feet long.
I think that's what's killing it too.
Yeah, I think you need to have different size buses for different routes and different intervals for different routes. Of course, I'll take one route in general. Let's say you're talking about McKnight Road. Of course, that one needs to be, it's a boulevard. It goes from Allison Park all the way downtown. That's one where you would have a bus every half hour or every 20 minutes, whereas something that goes through a neighborhood maybe only once an hour or once every 45 minutes. So they're going to have to re-examine the number of routes and how they reroute them. And during that same show that we had, we talked about setting connector buses. Let's say you have a park and ride over at the Waterworks Mall, and you have to have buses that go from the Waterworks Mall through Shaler and Etna, and then through Millvale, and then all the way through Babcock Boulevard, all the way to the Westview. They're going to have to re-evaluate the system from top to bottom and have these connecting points as opposed to all routes directed towards downtown. So.
And how long do you see this happening?
Well, I think that they need to start addressing that now. Now that at this point, after this 35% cut, there's nothing left. It's like the saying that you go so low that there's nowhere else to go but up.
I see Pittsburgh as a city where nobody wants to go, where they have they have a couple sports stadiums and a hockey arena, but nobody would want to have conventions there.
Well, even if they had, let's say they had no problems with the Port Authority right now, they have a perfect opportunity now to start thinking about how they're going to reroute buses. We got two new T stations on the north side. They don't have to send all the buses downtown. They can set some of them from Route 65 to end right at the casino, and then people take the T into town from there, as opposed to taking that 65 route bus all the way down into downtown. Now is the opportunity to start looking at some of those routes so that people can connect. Personally, and that's one of the issues I have with the Port Authority as well, is you're going to see a lot of people jumping on this bandwagon now. Over the last 10 years, especially when I first arrived here, people were bashing the T coming to the north. So, it's a waste of money, and people were talking about the 80-20 funding and stuff. First of all, you're not going to ever see 80-20 funding from the federal government ever again, let alone in public transportation or whatever. So we had to take the money. We decided to go with it. I am a stringent and ardent supporter of the T going to the north side. In fact, I wish it would have gone as far as the penitentiary in Alcasan so that we could redevelop the whole north side industrial area and bring brand new jobs. It ends at the casino. I'll take it for now. But we have a perfect opportunity now to redevelop and re-examine the route system, and we need to put all the options on the table to fix the Port Authority.
Now, my question to you is, why does the Port Authority cost so much? I want to get to fares is my next beef. Because like I said, I can go to a smaller town like Rochester, New York, and pay $1 to get on a bus.
Legacy costs, as they call them, which is, yes, contract after contract that was renegotiated.
What I think they should do is back the bus up here, no pun intended, but they should get rid of the retirees' money, and they should pay the drivers less an hour. Like drivers in Rochester, I was talking to my girl out there, and she told me that they don't make as much money as Port Authority drivers out here do.
No, I agree. We do have the highest paid drivers in the nation, I think, from what I understand. And whether it's a matter of rolling back, I don't think rolling back is the issue, because I am a union supporter. I'm a union rep as well. They've accrued what they got. They won their contracts. Or what
about cutting the retiree benefits?
Again, these are contracts that have been negotiated. The question is, how do you move forward from that point? And if that means that they're going to have pay freezes for the next 1 or 2 contracts, that's a whole other can of worms. But rolling back the contracts, that opens a big can of worms. You look at U.S. Airways when they left; they wanted to cancel all contracts with the employees, and basically, that's what they went to court for. Once you open that Pandora's box, there's no going back on that one.
In my opinion, as a writer, I think the best thing the Port Authority should do is A, go on strike, and then B, file for bankruptcy.
That is one option that a lot of people, especially people who live in the outlying counties, would suggest. I don't know if they'd support it, especially once they see the impact, but that is one option that's been brought up. Like I said, it's a matter of, and I did mention fixing. There's a lot of fixing to be done, but there is also the question of where are we going to get the funding as well. We talked about the fact that there's a drink tax that helps.
But the drink tax did nothing.
It did nothing. I agree with you on that one. In fact, as I talked to Albert outside, I actually opposed the drink tax. I did not think it was a germane tax to public transportation. In fact, what I support is a 3-cent tax on the casinos. I think they should have a 3-cent tax, 1 cent for the Port Authority, 1 cent for the bridges, and 1 cent for road infrastructure. So I think there are other avenues, and for example, when Dan Honorato went to Harrisburg a few years back and got the drink tax, he actually went up with 8 or 9 options, and Rendell gave him the drink tax and the rental car taxes as his 2 options. I think we need to re-examine what those other options were, see which ones are germane to public transit, whether it's a gas tax or something like that, and then from there we can start debating that. But I do not think that the drink tax was the right tax, and as you said, it did not really affect and help in a significant way.
All right, well, Brian and Dave are going to be wrapping this part up for a split second because we're going to be going into tape roll. Hey, excuse me, Chris, you're going to have to wait till we come back for that. But one thing I want to say is you may have a lot of good authority as far as rolling back the benefits for the people who already earned, whether it was a good or bad idea. I do not support and never will support taking away from the retirees. One thing I would support is demanding that certain nonprofits that make over $1 million to $2 million a year be required to pay taxes, at least in some sort, or a mandatory volunteering certain amount of monies or services. And the other thing is, when you are elected as the state representative, what is the likelihood, when we come back, we'll talk about that after Annette and I are done with other business, what is the likelihood that once you're elected, that you can caucus with other Republicans and also caucus with other Democrats to actually get a lot of these things that you are proposing to become in fruition and actually be mandates and or what you would call laws? So we will talk about that right after this clip, and when we come back, Annette will be saying hello to a large number of people, and then she's going to comb over, me, and then I'm going to say hello to some of you out there. So stay tuned to Humanity Matters. And now, a tape roll. Let's go with 4. Let's say do it once in the winter, once in the spring, once in the summer, and once in the fall. Spend time with others who really can use it. Now, maybe you don't have money. You don't have an extra few dollars. You don't have a way to take these children. But maybe you can go to that organization, volunteer at least 4 times a year for at least an hour. So that's 4 hours a year. Maybe you're an excellent reader. Maybe you're excellent at math. Maybe you're just good at telling stories. Maybe you're a good listener. Spend time with the children. Maybe children kind of agitate you, and you're not really ready for that. But you know of a senior citizen center. Go there. Spend time with people in a nursing home. Spend time with other family members that you haven't contacted in 20 years. Or maybe, just maybe, ask if there's any way you can volunteer to serve in some capacity 4 hours a year. You may just find that your heart and your personal well-being changes dramatically, because we need to reflect what is so special about the Christmas season. Is it the birth and rebirth of Jesus Christ? What Kwanzaa celebrates, Hanukkah, or what other holiday? And if it is, and if we're really celebrating these great miracles and our great saviors, why then do we limit it to once a year? God, and I'm not Mr. Religious, and you know that, God is not once a year. God is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and he is, or it or she is eternal. So if you truly want this meaning, this love, this fulfillment, this joy to last in your life, help it to last in other lives. Before I go, a word to the businessmen and women out there. Maybe you own a fast food restaurant. Maybe you own whatever business, a hockey shop, I don't know. Donate at least 4 times a year, donate to people who would not otherwise have opportunity and ability. I'm not letting the She's up. Annette?
Oh, hello again. This is Annette. I just want to say hello to some people out there. I want to say hi to Teresa and Lonnie. It was good meeting you, and we're looking forward to seeing you this year. And I hope you really do come and spend time with us, because we do have a lot of fun, as you can see if you're watching. And I want to say hi to Jamar and Eva at the Pittsburgh Water and Sewerage Authority. And I want to say hi to Alicia and the mother of the boy who works at the Permani Brothers in North Versailles that we met in McKeesport a couple months ago. We want to say hi to you too. And I think that's all for today.
You forgot to say no, but that's all right.
And now back to El Torcaso, sorry.
All right. 1 second, Brian. Then when you get your shout outs in a minute. All right. I like Brian's over here on the side. I'm sure you heard him say, Al, can I get some shout outs? Yeah, you can get some shout outs. And then after that, Dave and Chris can get some shout outs. And then we'll go back to the regular TV. But right now, be real quiet for a minute so I can finish up here. First of all, 412-231-2288. Call us before it's too late. 412-231-2288. Call us now, so don't be late. Any rate, and I didn't mean to do that last part as a rhyme. I want to say hello to Sandy, Dorcas, Lori, Sharon, Wendy, Justin, George, Betty, Mike, and the rest of the staff at the CDC, which is the Career Development Center. As a matter of fact, that's where I met the young man to my right. That's where I met Brian. I'm going to call him Brian H. because that last name's a little bit Hatgelakas, I'll tell you what. Hatgelakas, I don't know who's going to talk this. Any rate, everybody, Sandy, Dorcas, Lori, Sharon, Wendy, Justin, George, Betty, and Mike. Don't forget I said hello.
Definitely.
And I'll see some of you tomorrow. I won't say which ones, but I'll see you tomorrow. And now, Brian, say your shout out.
Okay, I'd like to shout out to everybody at the CDC Career Development Center. Plus, I want to shout out to my friend Creighton. And I want to give a long distance shout out to my girl Sarah in Rochester, New York.
All right.
She's my biggest fan and biggest supporter, and she's hopefully streaming me today.
Hopefully.
At pctv21.org.
That's right. .org, but anyway. Okay, is that all your shout outs?
And I want to shout out to my man Kobe and my friend Buckhead, who's in Detroit. He's a DJ
All right.
out there.
All right, well, why don't we go ahead and pass it on to Chris?
All right.
I have some questions for Dave.
Questions? What are you supposed to do? Shout outs right now.
I still have some issues with Dave.
He's confused, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
Issues
I've been
with
away.
Dave?
I've been away for a while.
Did you say you have issues with Dave?
Not issues, but
if you have issues, then-
concerns with his campaign.
We don't have to take you to a news station. I mean, magazine place. Newsstand.
No,
You said you have issues.
right.
If you have issues, you got to go to a newsstand.
Exactly.
That's right.
All right, go ahead. Let's get back to the business.
How do you feel about, for example, UPMC and Marcellus Shale paying their fair share to support education and mass transit and other issues that concern that need funding, and have the 99% population versus the 1%, meaning the 1% don't pay any taxes, and get them to pay their fair share?
Well, we talked earlier about the Port Authority and finding funding for them, and where it regards the Port Authority, I do think that the casino needs to be paying for transit and public roadways and so forth. I think that's